Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 report, where the journalists around Europe are still peddling transfer speculation, despite much of Europe going into lockdown over the last week. So there have been a couple of Everton stories that I'm going to bring you up to speed with during this show, and you'll discover that in this show there's a bit of a trend. Many of tonight's transfer links are either Brazilian or playing in Brazil. And of course, we have to start with the heavily linked Gabriel Magalhães. That's because earlier this week, Nicolo Schida, the Italian journalist, reported that Gabriel has agreed personal terms with Everton, and Everton now have to only agree terms with Lille to finalise a deal. The Independent then said that a medical was passed, but the deal is at risk because of the lockdown. And I can say straight away that that's complete rubbish, and it's an attempt to create some unnecessary drama. As far as the Schida report's concerned, I'm not convinced on that either. It's very rare for summer deals to be completed this soon, certainly where Everton are concerned anyway. Throw in the fact that Nicolo Schida isn't the most reliable source of journalism, and it's probably not got much going behind it, this rumour. But of course, it's just the latest in a long line of links between Gabriel and Everton, and hopefully there's no smoke without fire. If you didn't see the show that I did on Gabriel with the French football writer Jeremy Smith last week, be sure to check that out and get yourself filled in on what kind of beast it is we're hunting. Nicolo Schida has clearly been very busy looking into Everton transfer rumours, because he's also suggested that we're set to bid €40 million for the Napoli midfielder Allan. He's another heavily linked player with Everton since the appointment of Ancelotti, of course, for obvious reasons, but he is getting on for 30. With that in mind, I don't think we'd be prepared to part with that kind of money for him. It's clear there is a good working relationship between Allan and Ancelotti, but it would take a bit of a price cut, I think, for that to be a goer, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Another Brazilian Carlo Ancelotti is very fond of is the veteran PSG defender Thiago Silva, and Everton have been linked with the idea of signing the Brazilian superstar on a free transfer this summer when his Paris contract finishes. Sportal in Italy were the source that reported this, and they suggested that Silva could either return to former club AC Milan or join Everton to get a first taste of Premier League football, even though he is at the age of 35. There could be something in this, though. If Silva was to sign for us, it would be the third time that Ancelotti has signed him. He bought him for AC Milan and PSG previously. For me, the big question would be his age, but as an experienced winner and a very good defensive leader, he would bring plenty of mental attributes to a side that, let's be honest, is sorely lacking in potential captains, let's say. And with the pace of someone like maybe Mason Holgate, or possibly the new signing Gabriel, if it's a goer, next to him, it could be a very shrewd signing if we were to make it happen. And I think it'd be a really interesting one that might raise a few eyebrows, bringing in a player of that calibre. Even at his age, it might just be a little bit of an eyebrow raiser, you never know. But staying with Brazilians and Brazilian defenders, we've got two more possible incomings for you, and both of them are teammates in Brazil with Santos. Firstly, another centre-back, Lucas Verissimo. He's a 24-year-old centre-back, and he's one of the most dominant defenders in Brazil. Very similar to where maybe Yerry Mina was at just over 2 years ago before he went to Barcelona from the Brazilian side Palmeiras. So a whole host of centre-backs to choose from for Everton if the current batch of rumours are anything to go by. The other Santos player we've been linked with is the Venezuelan winger Jefferson Soteldo, who is a very gifted player at just the age of 22. Santos president has stated that there is interest from us, along with Inter Milan and a host of Spanish teams too. I mean, it's not like there's any kind of self-interest going on for him to be linking his own players away for big money. I mean, we could be very cynical about that, but aside from all that, whether Soteldo would be the answer to our need for a new right winger remains to be seen. He does prefer playing on the left for Santos, so whether he could adjust to the other side remains to be seen. Throw in the fact that the Santos president is trying to sell him for 35 million, and it's hard to see this being a goer, certainly as far as I'm concerned, or Certainly for any club for that matter, I don't think he'll be going anywhere at that price. And maybe that is the plan for the Santos president. I'm not sure what his motives are, but clearly he's playing a few mind games there. On to a few outgoings maybe now, and a few bits of news from the current squad members whom you might have forgotten were still on the books. Matty Pennington has stated that he plans to rejoin his current club who he's on loan with, Hull City, permanently if given the chance this summer. Let's not forget Pennington is 25 now, so for someone who's been playing predominantly in the under-23s when he has been at the club, he's older than many of the key players in our first team squad now, and the indelible memory I have of him is him backing off Liverpool players and getting run ragged, so I think that says a lot about where he stands in his career. And the fact of the matter is, he's still got another year to run on his contract, so God only knows who sanctioned that. Probably Steve Walsh. Not to point fingers, but this surely will be the summer that he leaves Everton for good if his loan deal is going relatively well at Hull, and hopefully they have been convinced enough to pay us a bit of money to make that deal a permanent one. And finally, a bit of news here which will make Evertonians blood boil. I think we can all agree that our club has responded brilliantly to the coronavirus lockdown, starting up the Blue Family Initiative to help people out in these uncertain times and putting out some brilliant content on social media. And now, Oumar Niasse has decided to throw mud in the club's face after he was pulled over by police, undercover police in Manchester, for breaking the rules of the lockdown. He was travelling in his car with two other friends during a time when we are meant to be carrying out social distancing, and some undercover police have pulled him over. So it's a bit more bad PR for Everton brought upon us by Oumar Niasse, and it's just the latest in a long line of debacle surrounding Niasse ever since he arrived at Everton over 4 years ago now. Of course, Niasse is out of contract in the summer anyway, but hopefully this constitutes as some kind of gross misconduct and it's grounds for him to be sacked. And let's be honest, having his contract terminated early, being sacked would probably be the most fitting way to bring the career of one of the club's worst ever signings to an abrupt close. And that brings our show to a close. As always, drop us a comment and let us know your opinions on all the topics that we've covered, all the players that have been mentioned on the show. Give the video a like and give our channel a subscribe if you want to get more of our great content to keep yourself sane while you're in isolation. Of course, in the midst of this period of lockdown, make sure you guys are staying safe out there wherever you are. And until next time, thank you guys for watching on the Toffee Blues.